Welcome to this forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters Oakland area. I am Linda DePorter, a member of the League, and I do not reside in Milford Township. The League of Women Voters is a trusted, nonpartisan political organization. Our members do the hands-on work to safeguard democracy. We are directly involved in shaping the important issues to keep our community strong. If you are interested in learning about how you can help us with our mission, I would encourage you to pick up some of the League information available here tonight, or visit our website at lwvoa.org. The candidates that you will meet tonight are on the November 6th election ballot. I would like to remind the audience again to turn off all cell phones and other electronic devices. We ask that the audience remain silent and hold their applause until the end of the forum. If you have a question for the candidates, please write it in a card and give it to the usher. The format for this forum has been established by the League of Women Voters Oakland area, and the views expressed in this forum are those of the candidates, and the League takes no responsibility. I will begin this evening by introducing the two candidates who are running for a 4-year term as Supervisor of Milford Township. You will vote for one. There's Jim Crane, Independent, and Don Green, Republican. They have been given an opportunity to give a 1-minute opening statement. As with all our responses this evening, our timer, Doug Porter, will let the candidates know when they have 30 seconds, then 15 seconds left, and then stop when time is up. We'll begin with Mr. Crane, opening statement.
Good evening. Thanks everyone for showing up tonight, and thanks to the audience that will watch this tape interview. My name is Jim Crane. I grew up here in Milford. My parents actually met. My father met my mother. He was working at the Ford plant in 1953. I graduated from Milford High School in 1976. I have almost 25 exactly years of business experience here in Milford, mostly on Main Street. I have lived in other places. I came back here on purpose. This is my hometown. I'm excited to be back. I'm a homeowner out in the township itself, and I'm looking forward to, and I've been back a number of years, but I'm looking forward and excited for the future of Milford, and looking forward to be a part of that and use my education and experience as a township supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Green.
My name is Don Green. I'm 63 years old. I lived in Milford as of Devil's Night. This month it would be 30 years. I didn't break anything on Devil's Night 30 years ago. I've held this position for 12 years. I'm looking forward to having another 4-year term, moving Milford forward the way I have for the last 12 years. We built a new police station, we built a new fire station, we put in a recreational trail. I'm working with developers right now to bring commercial in down at Pontiac Trail and Milford Road. I think I've done a very good job in the community and for the people of the community. That's all I have to say. I'm not long-winded. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Green, we're going to start with you, and we're going to be answering questions written by the audience and screened for duplication and germaneness. You'll have 1 minute again, as we did with the opening statements. So, Mr. Green, the question is, what is your vision for the future of the township? What is your position on combined, well, it's a different one. Let's just do this one. What is your vision for the future of the township?
My vision for the future of the township is to keep it very rural, as we have for the number of years we've been in existence, with large lots. That increases the value of the properties, develop it slowly in accordance with the zoning, get our roads fixed, develop the commercial down on the south end, which will enhance our tax base, and further development of the industrial area down on the south end with sewer and water. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crane.
Thank you. My vision for the township is many things. The township also includes the total village, so certainly the rural parts of the township outlying outside the village. Residential growth has been tremendous over my lifetime, but luckily it's been large lots and it's not high density growth. It was cornfields and apple orchards when I was a kid, and now they're no longer there. But also my vision for the township also includes the fact that the village is almost half the population of the township, but certainly not the size. but the village is the commercial center, and many townships would love to have the beautiful downtown we have. So it would be to support the growth in the outlying township slowly as it has been, but also to promote and water and nurture the growth of the village itself as the commercial center that this township enjoys very much. Thank you.
Thank you. This question, we'll start with you, Mr. Crane. There has been a long time discussion on merging the township and village, thus combining resources. What is your view on this?
I studied this as a Milford council member in the 90s. I studied it at Wayne State on my political science degree. I studied it at law school. There is no legal ability at the moment to totally combine the two. The village itself can't simply dissolve and become part of the township. The village could potentially become a city in itself, just barely with the density requirements. The township doesn't have enough population to go to a city at all. So currently, there's no legal way just simply to make that happen. But certainly, the two governments can work together as they have some in the past. The master plan was done together, and that type of thing. So the working together really is the answer at the moment. There is no legal way just simply to combine the two governments and provide the services in the village itself that the village provides. So from there, the answer is continue to try to make it work right.
Thank you. Mr. Green?
I was on the committee to study the cityhood for Milford Township and the village. And after a number of meetings, we came up with the conclusion there was no advantage to anyone becoming a city. I also went for other alternatives, which was to become a township. But according to the state constitution, you cannot do that because you have two different taxing authorities. One is the village, and you have 6 mills that takes care of DPS services, the village government, things of that nature. And the township didn't want their taxes to be raised to accommodate that issue. I've been working with Lansing trying to get a bill passed to allow the different taxing jurisdictions within the communities. And that stands with them right now. And I thought maybe that being the township government being the least invasive form of government would be a better solution for everyone.
Thank you. Mr. Green, we'll start with you. What do you view your primary role as township supervisor to be?
My primary role is to make sure that all the regulations are followed, make sure all the commissions and boards are run properly, in order, make sure that the businesses feel welcome here, work with all the citizens on any of their complaints or issues, keep the taxes low as possible, and enhance the development of the township to improve our tax base. But then again, according with zoning that's in place and controlling it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Crane.
The primary role as a supervisor, some of it is automatic, the things you have to do. The meetings themselves are almost a minor, it's almost an afterthought because the decisions are made leading up to the meetings, but certainly the meetings, and then responding to the needs of the public itself. Some of the public come right in the door, some call, and whether it be that they were at a planning commission meeting or a ZBA meeting, assisting the public itself and realizing what the ordinances are, how they're enforced, and how to solve the difference of what the public may want to be done and what can be done. I would use my, obviously the time, it's a busy job in itself, but then to help the public out to understand the nature of the ordinances and how there could be a good solution, not just an answer.
Thank you. And this time, Mr. Crane. What is your opinion on the proposed skate park?
I've seen the plans of the skate park. I've also lent my time as an attorney to the skate park. I think it's a beautiful plan. It's a little conceptual at the moment. I'd like to see a little more concrete than before they went for a millage rate. In and of itself, so I'm a little anxious on the fact that there's not, it's not further down the line before a millage rate went in, but the plan itself I support. The cost is a little on the questionable side because there's no direct plan nor a direct location for it. I support it, and I suggest that the voters themselves look hard at it and make a decision based upon their ability, and let democracy prevail from there. Thank you.
Mr. Green?
I started a planning group years and years ago to decide about having a skate park or not in Milford Township. We hired Fannie Howie, and we came up with conceptual things, and it was all put out there for an independent group to build a skate park off of these plans that we had come up with. I still prefer that option of the people, the individuals building the skate park and operating it rather than government getting bigger and bigger. I know the economy has not rebounded very well yet, and there's a lot of people that will not be able to afford even that $25 a year for the millage. Therefore, I prefer the option of private concerns running it.
Thank you. This time, Mr. Green, why are you running for supervisor?
I've been a supervisor for 12 years. I think I've done a pretty good job. According to the people on the street, I get more compliments about doing a good job than I get criticisms about doing a bad job, which is highly unusual. I have things that are in the fire that I want to see done in the township, like the commercial down on the south end, and getting the roads fixed. I keep getting distracted 30 seconds. Right, and I would just like to fulfill all the obligations that I have out there right now for the township.
Thank you. Mr. Crane?
I'm running for Milford Township Supervisor because this is my hometown, and I'm thrilled with my hometown. I understand the history of this town, and I'm excited about the future of this town. And I think with my education, I have a political science degree from Wayne State University. I have a Juris Doctor degree from Thomas Cooley Law School. My 25 years of business experience here in Milford uniquely qualify me to lead the township itself and to see it become and continue the growth and the great town that it is. I've lived in almost 6 other states. I've seen a lot of things that were good, I've seen a lot of things that were bad. And I think using my experience, I can think out of the box and bring solutions to problems, and that this town will be a great town that it truly is. Thank you.
Thank you. This time, I'm going to have asked different questions of each of you. So, Mr. Crane, yours is, as a practicing attorney, how will you have time for the supervisor's job? Will you continue to practice law?
I will continue with my law license actively, so that if some person calls and wants me to review their will or something, or help them out, I can legally do it. I will not have a law practice per se, open and up and running. I will, as a matter of fact, I even cut back partially because I had hip replacement 2 months ago, but I've cut back now just on my obligations of taking long-term big cases there. So the answer is I will not be a practicing attorney with a active law practice. I will keep my law license for the purpose of helping citizens and other people. I have family all over the nation that might want to call in. I can legally still give an answer, but I will devote my full-time efforts, which to me is 60, 70 hours a week, to be a township supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. And for Mr. Green, is it true you plan to retire in January 2013?
No way.
Obviously,
There's a rumor on the street, and it was
Yes.
it was questioned by the newspapers about this about a week ago, and I was totally taken by it. There's no way I would retire in January after having spent 12 years in the position and looking forward to the future here. Why would anyone run and pull the same thing that happened with in the congressional race? No, I'm not retiring in January. I will be doing 1,260 days 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this one we're with Mr. Green. How do you feel about industrial facility tax exemptions?
The tax exemptions, we did some of them for General Motors, and then as soon as the abatements expired, they turned around and took us to the tax tribunal, and they got a 60.4% reduction in their property taxes. An IFT is a good way to get businesses into the community, but you have to set up special zones for them. At this point in time, I am not in favor of IFTs. Thank you.
Mr. Crane?
I'm certainly in favor of the concept, but it's gonna be an individual as they come and apply, for a tax break to make sure that there's, that they're responsible, to creating jobs and creating opportunities here in the township. So it's an open door policy to hear about, development of the industrial district by, tax breaks, but it's certainly not an open checkbook to just simply give away tax dollars. There has to be a logical approach to it, and it has to be tied to their ability to perform. So in favor of them, but you're gonna have to convince me and the board itself if I'm the supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. And this one, we'll start with you, Mr. Crane. What is your opinion of the medical marijuana laws and the moratorium that stands in the township?
I can speak probably a little directly about this, being an attorney. I think the medical marijuana law is flawed fatally. It was a referendum. It was put forth by a group who had an agenda. It was poorly written, and it's hard to enforce. Certainly there's a group of people there that can benefit from an alternative pain relief or nausea relief and stuff, but as written, it's a pretty open door for there. I have had many a client that I've had to explain that to, that it's a bad law. So from there, it really needs to be, the legislature needs to tackle that, and if they're gonna move forward with it, that it's done more logically and has better rules to ensure that it's not just somebody who wants to use it as an excuse to smoke marijuana.
Thank you. Mr. Green?
Mr. Green.
Green, I'm sorry. Looked right at you and said Green, I'm sorry, Mr. Green.
Right now we have a moratorium on medical marijuana in the township. We've had it ever since the law was passed. We've been working with our attorney to try and get some legislation at the local level that would allow us to regulate it. We haven't moved on that yet. We were really hoping that the state legislators would solidify what they wanted the whole state to do, rather than having a hodgepodge of rules everywhere. Well, let's move there because you can get marijuana easier there. I mean, as soon as they opened the places in commerce, they were inundated with customers buying marijuana. But they need better rules before it is put into place.
Thank you. And Mr. Green again. What do you see as the greatest problem facing Milford Township, and what is your approach to the problem?
The greatest problem right now is our road system. The roads are deteriorating, and as Mr. Folks, the road commission person, has explained to people on numerous occasions, there's billions of dollars worth of work that needs to be done, but only millions of dollars to do it. You need to be able to get to and from a place safely and efficiently, and without ruining your vehicle. That's the most important thing right now in the township, is do the roads. Our economy is kind of flat right now, but we see the light at the end of the tunnel. Within a year or so, property values will be going up much more than they have been.
Thank you. Mr. Crane?
Certainly one of the major problems facing the rural part of the township is the roads. The village itself, which is also part of the township, has a separate taxing ability, and just actually they voted for a road tax. So luckily for the village center, the roads will get better addressed, but even the basic vehicle for, if it's not a tax itself, is the road funds that go to the Oakland County Road Commission, and that's based upon the gasoline tax. And the problem with that is, as we all get cars that get 40 miles per gallon, that means we're gonna buy less gasoline per mile driven, and that means less revenue to the Oakland County Road Commission. From there, that's gonna require a statewide fix to get new funding that can take care of the rural part of the township roads by the Oakland County Road Commission there.
Thank you. Okay, this time we're with Mr. Crane. As supervisor, how will you work with the Board of Trustees to govern the township?
Supervisor, the advantage I'll have is I'll be working a full-time position for the township and be able to use my education, my experience to gather that information and then share that with the board itself. At the board level, the supervisor is just one of the votes there. But certainly the supervisor has the ability to bring forth information. I worked on the village council for 4 years, and because I was self-employed, I was able to give extra time to things. And you also learn to be careful that you don't win an argument just simply because you can overwhelm somebody else with the information. You look at both sides, you look for real solutions, you look for real information, even if it goes against the decision you would like to make, and share that information with the board itself, who may not have that extra time to find those solutions, and bring that, and then from there you debate and see what the vote gets from there. Thank you.
Repeat the question.
Sure. As supervisor, how will you work with the Board of Trustees to govern the township?
Well, as supervisor, I work with the board like I have been for the last 12 years. We have our agreement to disagree. We don't always vote unanimously. We have our own opinions about ways things should be done, and we always come up with some kind of a compromise to get issues passed. Ordinances, things that we want to do, things of that nature. And I think I've done a pretty good job working with the existing board that's been in place for 12 years now, except for the new clerk. And it's pretty harmonious, even though we still disagree on a number of issues.
Thank you. This one, Mr. Green. The township has a AA rating from S&P. What do you attribute this great rate to, and how will we keep it?
Well, if you watch your pennies, the dollars watch themselves. I'm pretty tough on the budget. We don't do many frivolous things. We have a minimal staff of 5 employees and 3 elected officials, and we run the township very efficiently that way. The salaries are really not something to write home about. But if you watch your budget and you don't spend more than you take in, Standard & Poor's looks at that very greatly now.
Thank you. Mr. Crane?
The rating comes from looking purely at the dollars, and the dollars, I've looked at the budget for the last 5 years specifically. I've looked at the township budget from before this, and that's actually looked at. They looked at the fund balance. They look at the fact that there's, are you taking in more than you're spending? So from there, the fund balance is what we consider a healthy fund balance. But from there, you know, additionally, the township needs to look at what it's getting for those dollars, and then what its services it's performing for the township itself. So I think that even though a AA bond rating is real important, I would also focus on what the dollars that are spent, what their benefit is coming to the township residents themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll start with you, Mr. Crane. Planning ahead, other than roads, because you mentioned those, what do you foresee as something that should be addressed now to avoid future problems?
I would say that the continuation of the village as the business center, as the cultural center, cultivating that, helping out in that fact that the village government runs itself in the DDA, but to assist them to keep that beautiful downtown that the township so much enjoys. At the same time, the rural character of the township itself, but then there's the individual property rights, so there's still some empty pieces of property that will slowly develop, but to nurture that too, the large lot developments, so that we don't lose the character. I've heard people express their worry about it becoming another Birmingham. That won't happen, luckily we're already past that point. We have large lots, beautiful trees, and rural character with a nice, beautiful downtown. So let's just keep that on that path, and not let it slip into something else or stagnate. Thank you.
Mr. Green.
I see the future of the township is moving very slowly forward, as we have for the past years, developing according to our zoning, even though developers come in and take us to court and usually beat us up pretty bad and throw our zoning out the window. We're trying to stick with our master land use plan. We've always had all the commercial except for the Dairy Queen and Bakers in the village of Milford. Anything that we develop on the south end would be not injurious to the downtown of Milford. I'm looking for retail stores that have nowhere else around in this area of Michigan to come in and develop down there. That will improve our tax base. We're looking at putting in a water system on the south end to enhance the sewer system, which is going to accommodate all the industrial development down on the south end too.
Thank you. That concludes the question portion of our forum. The candidates will now give a 1-minute closing statement, and I'm going to go in the reverse order of the opening statement. So Mr. Green, you are first. To remain township supervisor is very important to me right now. I've worked very hard for 12 years to keep the harmony between the township and the village going well. I've worked with the police department to get them an extra millage when we had the GM crisis with the tax issues. I've worked with developers to develop the community within our zoning district. I have a good rapport with local agencies, the police, the fire, the county, even state reps, and all this helps when you want to get things accomplished. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Crane.
I'm excited about the opportunity to become the next township supervisor. I think my education, both in political science and at law school and administrative law, my experience as a business person working here in the village, making a payroll, understanding the nature of that, my political experience as on the village council, understanding the budget making process and balancing the needs of the citizens against the ordinances and the things that the government has to do. This is my hometown. I'm certainly excited about being part of the finding solutions here in my hometown. My basic policy is to look on the bright side, but not in a Pollyanna sort. As you look at the bright side, what can be done, and then find solutions that meet the needs of the township to become that even better township than we have now. I thank everyone for attending tonight. I thank for everyone for paying attention as this tape part, and I look forward to become the next township supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. The League of Women Voters, Oakland area, wants to thank the candidates and the audience and WOCCA who have made this evening possible. For more information on the candidates, check lwvoa.org and go into the voter guide section. Also, there are hard copies of the voter guide for all of Oakland County at your township hall, should be in your township hall and your libraries. Don't forget to vote November 6th. Democracy is not a spectator sport. Thank you.